I never stepped foot in a data center again after that night. The server room was a graveyard of humming fans and blinking lights. As a developer, I was used to the lonely night shifts. But that specific night, the silence felt heavy and thick. It felt like the building itself was holding its breath. At 2 a.m., a rhythmic thud hit the heavy steel door. I figured it was just the building settling in the wind. Nobody was logged into the perimeter gates on my monitor. Then I heard them. Footsteps. Heavy boots struck the linoleum floor with deliberate force. I grabbed my flashlight and moved toward the sound. The beam cut through the gloom like a blade. A man stood by the cooling unit in a trench coat. He wore a wide-brimmed hat that hid his face completely. He did not speak or make a single move. He just stood there for 10 seconds in the shadows. Then he turned and walked back into the darkness. I told myself it was a prank from another worker. Maybe it was just a confused janitor lost in the halls. I sat back down at my terminal to keep working. 10 minutes later, that same thud echoed through the room. The man was now much closer to my workstation. He stayed perfectly still until I finally looked up. His face was hidden, but his presence felt suffocating. It felt like he was watching me from the void. Every time I blinked, he seemed inches closer to me. I could feel a cold draft on my neck. By 3 a.m., the air turned freezing in seconds. I saw him standing right behind my chair now. His hand was hovering just inches from my shoulder. My heart hammered against my ribs like a trapped bird. I couldn't breathe. I could barely move my hands. I slammed the button for the emergency intercom system. I screamed for security and prayed someone would hear me. Seconds later, a bright light cut through the hazy air. My supervisor, Miller, burst in with 2 heavy guards. He did not look at me first when he entered. He looked directly at the space right behind my head. The moment his flashlight hit the man, the figure vanished. It did not run away or hide in a corner. It simply ceased to exist in our physical world. All that remained was a strange smell of ozone and dirt. It smelled like old earth and burnt electricity combined. The guards searched the room but found absolutely nothing there. They checked the vents, the pipes, and the cooling units. Nothing was hidden behind the racks or inside the panels. When I told them what I saw, they stayed silent. Miller didn't laugh at my story or call me crazy. He just looked at the spot where the man had stood. He walked over to the wall and touched the brick. The bricks were icy to the touch despite the heat of the servers. They stayed with me for 3 hours until sunrise. After that, they told me I needed to take a leave. I quit the next day and never went back to data centers. To this day, I still smell that ozone when it rains. Some things in the dark are not meant to be seen. And some people shouldn't be working alone at 3 a.m. If you were sitting there, would you have stayed or run?